Okay, let's unpack this today. We're doing a deep dive into, well, the power of the first few moments of your day.
Yeah, specifically morning routines.
Exactly. Why starting your day intentionally, carving out that time, is seen in our sources as such a foundation for, well, success and just feeling good.
It's fascinating stuff. We've looked at quite a mix of sources, personal stories, some research-backed insights, habits of really successful folks.
And what's striking, isn't it, is how they all sort of point to the same core idea.
Definitely. That how you start your day isn't just passive, it actively shapes what comes next.
Right. So our mission here is to pull out the key takeaways, give you a good sense of the benefits the sources highlight.
And some really practical ways you might think about building your own routine.
Yeah, whether you're looking to be more productive, find a bit more calm, or just feel a bit more in charge.
The idea seems to be win the morning, win the day. Something like that.
That's the thread. Okay, so let's dig into the why first. Why does this intentional start actually, well, matter so much according to these sources?
Well, the big one that comes up again and again is productivity, increased productivity.
How do they connect those dots? How does a routine lead to getting more done?
They frame it as setting the stage, like priming your mind for peak performance.
Okay.
So by deciding how you spend those first moments, you're telling your brain what's important right from the get-go.
So it's about focus?
Yeah, that intention helps prioritize tasks, manage time better, helps you stay focused, and ultimately be more efficient. It's proactive, not reactive scrambling first thing.
That makes a lot of sense. And that focus, it seems like it goes hand in hand with mental clarity. They mention things like meditation, journaling.
Right. It's about creating mental space, you could say.
How does that work? How does sitting quietly or writing help?
Well, taking even just a few minutes to breathe or jot down thoughts isn't just downtime. It helps you observe your thoughts without getting tangled in them.
Like sorting the mail, maybe, instead of letting it pile up.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. And that process, they suggest, helps cut down stress and anxiety quite drastically.
Makes tackling the day feel less daunting, I imagine.
Yeah, leaves you with this tangible feeling of clarity before the workday chaos hits.
And if you have that clarity, it probably helps with stress levels overall. Mindfulness and meditation seem key there.
Precisely. The sources say it equips you to handle challenges more calmly, more confidently, when they inevitably pop up.
Is there research mentioned on that?
There is, yeah. They point to studies showing people with regular morning activities like exercise, meditation, tend to report significantly lower stress levels.
Interesting. And beyond just less stress, can it actually build more positive outlook? Starting with self-care, does that create momentum?
It seems so. That sense of accomplishment, even from something small first thing, it fosters positivity. Nurturing your body or mind early on helps you approach the day with more optimism and energy. These little routines build emotional resilience because you've already done something for you.
Before the world starts demanding things.
Exactly.
Okay. And practically speaking, how does all this, the focus, the calm, translate into better time management throughout the day?
Well, by setting the direction right away, the sources suggest this initial focus helps you spot and prioritize the high-impact stuff.
So you're not just reacting to whatever comes up first.
Right. It stops the day from just happening to you. You feel more like you're guiding it, which tends to make things run smoother.
There was also a mention of a psychological angle.
Hmm.
Something about flow.
Yeah. Psychologist Niels Eek, he talks about how routine helps the mind slip into that flow state more easily. It stimulates the brain for productivity.
How does routine do that?
It reduces decision fatigue early on. If the morning's mapped out, your brain isn't burning energy figuring out what next. It can just, well, flow.
Oh.
And there was that University of Toronto research too, right? Small, happy habits unleashing creativity.
Yeah. What was that about?
Basically, starting in a good mood makes your brain better at problem solving. Bad moods apparently make it much harder. So starting happy has real cognitive perks.
Fascinating. Okay, so those are some compelling reasons why it matters.
So if that's the why, what about the what? What are the actual pieces people put into these routines? What comes up most often?
It doesn't seem like it needs to be super complicated based on the sources.
Not at all. Exercise is a huge one, though.
Right. Quick workout, full session. What's the core benefit they point to?
Just getting the blood pumping first thing. It gives you an energy boost that apparently lasts.
Like Joe Wicks talks about.
Yeah, him and others connect that morning movement directly to being more productive and, well, just generally happier all day.
Okay. And meditation or mindfulness, we touched on that. How much time are we talking?
The sources suggest even 5 minutes can make a difference.
Really? Just 5?
Seems so. The key is just centering your mind, setting that calm tone, getting that moment of clarity before the noise starts.
And journaling or gratitude, what's the thinking there?
It's about clearing your head, mainly. Getting thoughts, goals, worries, or even just things you're grateful for down on paper.
Processing the internal chatter.
Yeah, helps you focus on what's actually important before the day pulls you in different directions.
Makes sense. Then there's the practical stuff, like breakfast.
A nutritious one, yeah. They link it directly to physical health, lower risk of certain diseases, helps with weight.
But also energy for the morning, right?
Yeah.
Fueling that focus.
Exactly. And Jeff Bezos' example is interesting there, breakfast with family. Adds that relationship layer. Psychological benefits, too. Nourishment beyond just food.
Good point. Goal setting also came up. Why do it first thing?
Clarity and purpose for the day ahead. Deciding what you want to achieve sets a target, stops that where did the day go feeling later on.
And then there was one that maybe sounds small, but Tim Ferriss highlighted it. Making the bed.
Huh, yeah. He apparently finds it incredibly important.
Why?
He sees it as the first win of the day. Gives you an immediate feeling of control, of accomplishment.
Even if the rest of the day goes sideways.
Especially then, he says. It's that one small thing you controlled right at the start. Sets a positive domino effect, psychologically.
Interesting how these small things add up. And the sources mention quite a few well-known people who swear by these habits.
Oh, absolutely. Howard Schultz, Starbucks guy. Up at 4:30 a.m. Dogs, exercise, non-negotiable time.
Wow, 4.30. Richard Branson, Obama, both early exercisers too, right?
Yep. And Branson also makes time for family calls first thing. That connection piece.
Right. And Tim Ferriss, again, making the bed, meditation. But I liked his practical take.
The 3 out of 5 fit?
Yeah. Hitting just 3 of his 5 chosen rituals counts as a win. That feels much more achievable.
Totally. It emphasizes consistency over perfection, which is a really key theme running through all this.
Takes the pressure off.
Wow.
Oprah and Jack Dorsey were mentioned for meditation too.
Both count it as really important, yeah. Highlighting those mental benefits again.
And Joe Wicks, the body coach guy you mentioned.
He directly links his morning workouts to energy, productivity, being happier, that movement mindset connection.
And Bezos with the family breakfast, we covered that relationships matter too.
Yeah, and then they list others like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Mark Wahlberg, Tony Robbins, all attributing success in part to that morning discipline. It's a common thread among high achievers, it seems.
Okay, so seeing the examples is motivating, but how do you actually start and, maybe more importantly, keep it going without it feeling like another chore?
Right, the practical side. And the sources are pretty clear here. Start small.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Definitely not. Niels Eek suggests picking just 1 or 2 things. Stick with those until they feel automatic, then maybe add something else. Gradual is key.
And that links back to the consistency over perfection idea, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Aim for regularity, but don't beat yourself up if life happens and you miss a day or need to adjust. Rigidity isn't the goal.
Flexibility seems crucial.
Totally. Because days don't always go to plan. You might oversleep, have an early meeting. The point is cultivating habits that support you overall, not creating a new source of stress.
So if you miss something, maybe try later. Or just let it go for that day.
Yeah, maintain the intent, find the balance. It's about what works for you long term.
Which leads to personalization, right?
Yes.
Choose things you actually like.
Yes. What makes you feel good? Yoga, reading, music, a walk. It has to resonate, otherwise it won't stick. Don't just copy someone else's list.
Good point. And to make it easier, prepare the night before.
Strong suggestion from the sources. Lay out clothes, get the journal ready, prep breakfast bits. Removes friction when you're probably still half asleep.
Makes sense. Less thinking required. And making a firm plan for the morning itself.
Also vital, don't leave decisions for when your willpower might be low. Write it down what you'll do, roughly how long it takes.
Why does writing it down help?
Protects you from mental fatigue, Niels Eek says. You don't have to decide, you just do. Lets you focus on the important stuff without wasting energy on choices.
Okay. And maybe a simple to-do list for the day is part of that.
Yeah, ordered by importance. Gives direction. But the sources also add, don't stress if you don't tackle everything first thing. Just having the list itself can reduce stress.
So it boils down to plan ahead, start small, be consistent but flexible, make it yours, and maybe prepare the night before.
That sums it up pretty well. It's about building a supportive structure, not a rigid cage.
Right. So wrapping up this deep dive then, The big takeaway really seems to be that a morning routine, one that's consistent, personal, and flexible, it genuinely has the power to change your day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Setting that intentional tone first thing can really boost productivity, enhance that mental clarity we talked about, and just improve your overall sense of well-being.
It's not magic, is it? It's just deliberate practice.
Exactly. And it reinforces that idea we kept seeing. Intentionally win the morning, and you really do stack the odds in favor of winning the day.
So, thinking about that consistency over perfection point, winning the morning, even if you only hit some of your goals, here's something maybe to ponder.
Mm-hmm.
What's one small intentional step you could take tomorrow morning? Something that would feel like a win no matter what the rest of the day throws at you.